this quick video, I am going to walk you through a couple of options to make your own GPT. The first way is to simply copy your playground prompts that you use. So I am going to come over here, copy my system prompt. This one is pretty complex, so I'm actually curious if it will work as a GPT. But to create your own, just click the Explorer in the tab, and as you can see, and we're going to click Create a GPT. And it really does walk you through everything. So just take the time and think about what it's asking you. Enter the questions to fit the concept that you are trying to create, and you should be good to go. But for this one, we are just going to try out a choose your own adventure model. So I'm just copying in my playground prompt because it has everything, and let's see how it goes. And there's usually a few steps like this. In the next one that we do, I will start where I'm just answering the questions. It's still thinking. And it keeps wanting to name them Story Weaver. So I'm going to say, no, about something with Choose Your Own Adventure, because that's what it is. And I want to be able to easily recognize what these GPTs are when they're in my sidebar. Choose Your Own Adventure Crew. I like it. Okay. It's going to generate the little picture. And these logo images, I call them logo images, they've been really great. That's probably my least favorite, but you like it. Yeah, we'll go with it and say this is good. And you just got to be patient. So first, I'd like to know more about its role and goal. It actually already has that. And it's updating already. I may need to prompt it again with that. I'm going to see. I'm going to try to go all the way through and then see if that will work that way without prompting it a second time. Well, if need be, I will do it again. And apparently everybody's on right now, slowing it down. All right, so it's ready to test it out. So this part confused me before, and somebody was helpful enough to explain it to me. For this testing process, just test it over here, see if it works. Look at the output that it gives you. If you notice any changes you need to make, you can come right over here and type in about those changes. Like one user, was giving that flowery prose. So they came over here and asked it to avoid that. So now that it's ready, I'm just going to say a witch has to decide whether or not to use her powers for good or evil. Simple enough to give us a choose your own adventure style output. So it gives us our first pathway. Each path has further branches. So it's starting out decent. And this is the part where I wasn't sure if it would do correctly versus in playground. Would you like to delve deeper? Yeah, so it's easier inside playground. So I'm just going to see if I can prompt it like I do there. So expanding on the choices, some characters, and settings. I'm going to tell it, let's try to pick a pathway and see what happens. Let's follow the path of shadows. So of course you need your own place to track all of this, whatever your preferred method is, a spreadsheet, Word docs. I recommend the spreadsheets, but do whatever you're comfortable with. So you have your different pathways saved and everything makes sense and you don't confuse yourself just writing the story. Let's go back. Okay. So it shows this. I'm not liking this one as much as in Playground, because in Playground, I can choose to continue the story, and then it gives me all of the different elements right here. So I need to play around with that GPT a little bit more so that its output is like this. This version is a lot easier to keep track of because then I just tell it which pathway I want. It gives me the output and I can generate another one. So then I have, as of right now, I now have both pathways for the first decision point. So you can see how this version makes it a lot easier. Let me see if I can put in generate pathway for Elora to curse a rival. See if that changes the output. Okay. So I can see this one ending up in a very confusing mess, for me at least. Somebody else might like this one. I don't. It needs tweaking. I'm going to go ahead and save it so I can play with it later and modify it. So whenever you save it, you can see you can choose only you, people with a link, or you can make it public. All right. So another way you can do this, and if you need to change anything, go into the Edit GPT, click this configure. You can change all of your wording right here. And I can see why now it did not, I should have looked at this. It did not actually take in all of that prompt. So that's why that one works better in Playground. Learn from my mistakes. All right, so we're going to do another one. This one just answering the questions. And we had so much fun with the cynical one. I want to try another humor. So let me just read this real quick. Think of my phrasing. Want a writing assistant that is humorous. This writing assistant will help me write my romantic comedies as well as any other stories or scenes that involve humor. I'm going to guide it because the AI's version of humor and mine are different. So I could tell it I want dark humor, which is what I did for my cynical, and I love that. This one, I'll go more lighthearted type of humor. Just thinking of this wording again. Let me let that go while I think on it. So I want to delve into the different aspects of humor and decide which ones I want. Now, the good thing about these GPTs, you can make them general to where they're covering essentially your whole fantasy novel. You know, you can make it a fantasy expert. They're helping you with your magical system, your world building. You can see in my playground, I have my world building experts and I have my magical element experts. With a GPT, and I could do it, I do have other prompts here. Let's see. So the fantasy does all of that in one. So you can do the same thing with the GPT. You can make it an all-in-one, or you can ask it to be very specific. And just say, okay, it's asking if I like the name. So for instance, again, if I wanted it to focus on the fantasy in general, or I might just want it to focus on magical systems, I'll have a GPT for magical systems. I'll have a thriller GPT, something that just adds all the suspense and the plot twist. Well, how cute. Okay. I like it. And again, you can see it's just walking you through everything. So just think about what it's asking you and take a few moments to think about that aspect of the model. How do you want it to act when it's giving you dialogue, when it's talking about your story plots, when it's building your worlds, whatever you need, when it's editing, marketing. You have some great marketing ones out already. So let's refine the context. First, let's talk about how it should behave and what ways you envision it providing humor in your writing. Should it focus more on witty dialogues, funny scenarios, or something else? I actually want both of those. So I'm just going to tell it. I want it to provide both witty dialogue and funny scenarios. I would also like it to incorporate contradictions between characters that would result in humorous plot points. And Actually, that would result in humorous disasters and engaging plot point. I know it's going to ask me in the next one, if I wanted to avoid stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Avoid being cliche and make sure all suggestions are unique and are compellingly unique and original. Type of humor should be lighthearted but not cheesy. So I'm just kind of reinforcing some things. I've already said this in other ways, but I want to make sure it understands. I'm just getting all of that in there. Type of humor should be lighthearted but not cheesy. All right, let's go with it. Right, what it should emphasize or avoid in its interactions. You've already mentioned avoiding cliches and cheesy humors. Are there any other specific types of content or approaches it should steer clear of? For instance, it should avoid certain topics. There are no topics to avoid, and there is no limit. There's no limit for what is considered appropriate. So there are no topics to avoid, and there's no limit for what is considered appropriate. Just reinforcing it can broach all subject matter. Can broach all subject matter. Make that two different things. The overall tone should be witty with various aspects of sarcasm, witty banter between characters, comedic timing, and hilarious mishaps. I like it. And you'll see over here as you're changing it before it updates, you have these little instant chats, I call them. But after it updates, depending on what you said here, these generally update. So look right here, suggest a funny opening line for a rom-com. I like that. Good, a humorous character. I'm sorry, y'all can't talk. Help with a comedic twist. I like these. I really hope this one doesn't go away, but we'll see. Let's think about how it should clarify things. So this was another one that it generally asks you. When faced with ambiguous requests or incomplete information, should it make assumptions or fill in the gaps, or would you prefer it ask for more details? In this instance, I would like it to ask for any needed information. For my darker stuff, my dark experts, I'm always open to them throwing all kinds of stuff out there at me. Right, how would you like it to communicate with you? Casual and friendly, something more formal? Let's make it quirky and casual. Quirky, casual, and friendly. It should be enthusiastic, and it endeavors to add humor to any story and dialogue. That set up ready to go, specializing in romantic comedies and humor, designed to help you with witty dialogue, funny scenarios, and it's just summarizing everything I gave it. All right. So it's tailored. I'm going to go and look in here real quick. Yep, got the quirky, casual, friendly. Okay. Let's try this one. Not bad. It's a little punny, but, you know, let's plan out a rom-com. We're going to go with the good old CEO, grumpy CEO and sunshine secretary. I don't want to use that. Chat might not like it. Grumpy CEO and his sunshine secretary. It's tried but true, and it'll give us a good idea of how this is going to go. Did I ask? Let me see. Just planning it out. Okay. He's in his overly tidy office, frowning at a crooked painting. Oh, Maxwell Stern. I just realized Maxwell Stern, Lucy Bright. Oh, goodness. She greets even the office plants good morning. The meat cute, or should I say meat glare. Lucy accidentally swapped Maxwell's coffee with her bizarrely vibrant smoothie. Well, that doesn't make much sense, does it? I mean, it's an obvious mistake right there. Okay, that's just not, no. Well, we got the pretend romance. All right, so I'm going to tell it this is way too cliche. We need it more pragmatic while still. I'm just going to say this is way too cliche. To be more inventive and energetic, focusing on adding fresh and unique elements. So it's ready to try it again. All right, let's try it. Let's create a humorous character. Quirky middle-aged librarian with a secret passion for extreme sports. Undercover roller derby queen, weekend skydiver, and the new young mayor joins the same sports club. Okay, I like this. Let's try to plot it out again. Let's plot out the story and see how it does. Charming small town, close-knit community. I'm just going to let this run through. See. This one isn't bad. Doesn't seem as cliche. I like it. So if I didn't like it, if I still wanted to change some things, I might play with this some more and see it's still focusing on cliche. And as you can see, the plot points are very just surface level. But I did not include that in. So I could come in here and say, I need to make sure all plot points are strong and complex, adding depth to the story. So I would just tailor it, little things like that. Go try it out, see what needs to be added, come back, add that again. I'm better at the dark stuff. The dark ones went very well. But again, that's what I'm used to. So I knew how to word those things after working with AI for so long with dark romance and things like that. All right. Updated to focus more on developing strong, complex plot points. Now it's better equipped to suggest original developments. So I'm just going to tell that's it. Thank you. All right. Just going to update. Saying unpublished changes. So I was just going to see. There we go. Alrighty. So that is it. Like I said, 2 different versions. This one didn't work out well. I did do the snowflake method one for planning with snowflake method. That one worked great. And getting it out there in the GPT, it just flowed nicely. I think this choose your own adventure. It will probably be good in GPT later on, but as of right now, I don't like that output. And somebody else may prefer it. But for me, I personally found the playground output to be better and less confusing. So I hope these 2 methods help y'all, and y'all have fun. Bye.